let me back up just a second here in saying that, one of the things that I loved, or that I always regretted, what I always regretted when I was studying American history is that I didn't live in some of these other time periods, like, for example, 1775, 1776. I always wanted to meet a real American hero. Men like George Washington and John Adams and all of these things. I mean, we have a lot of good reason to be proud of our heritage, proud of these men who gave up everything just so that they could be free. Always regretted that I never got to meet a real American hero. Well, all of that changed about 3 months ago when I went to Washington, D.C. To cover the anniversary of the 40th reunion, or the 40th anniversary, the reunion of the 40th anniversary, sorry, like I said, I'm half asleep, of the attack on the USS Liberty. As I said, when I first came across this story about the Liberty, I thought this cannot be true. There's no way that an American ship was attacked, that 34 of those sailors were killed, and we didn't hear about this. We know more about the USS Cole than we do about the USS Liberty. Anyway, as I said, a few months ago, I had the honor and the privilege of being invited by the USS Liberty Veterans Association to go and to commemorate with them the 40th anniversary of the day on which the State of Israel attacked this unarmed ship and killed 34 of our fellow Americans. And so what I would like to do now is to introduce to all of you a real American hero we have with us tonight. We have Phil Tourney, who is a survivor of the attack on the USS Liberty. And I would ask all of you to stand and to give him a real American hero's welcome.
Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that introduction. It was very kind of you. And I want to say, first of all, before I get into the Liberty story, I've been to quite a few of these events around the country, and I am very honored and pleased to be with all of you today, which I consider the backbone of our country, American patriots that do care about our country and what's happening to it. And also, I'm thinking about what happened at the Marriott, what they did to you and what they did to all of you. It was disgraceful. It was, I think, a breach of our free speech, right to assemble. And I think we all ought to write the CEO of the Marriott a letter. If he doesn't answer that one, write him another letter. If he doesn't answer that, write him another letter. Continue writing letters to these people till you let them know that they're not going to trample on your civil rights ever again. We have a right to be here. Right, get somebody. Well, first of all, I was 20 years old in 1967. I was a third-class petty officer in damage control, and we were ordered to leave Abidjan, Africa, about 2 o'clock in the morning to go who knew where. We didn't have a clue where we were going until we got to Rota, Spain, and we picked up 3 linguists, 3 Marine Russian linguists, and a civilian named Alan Blue. It was a one-night stay. We picked up supplies, and we headed for the Mediterranean. We got on station at approximately 6 o'clock in the morning. At approximately 6:05, Israeli aircraft were circling the ship. We knew they were Israeli aircraft because we could see the Star of David on them. We waved at the pilots waved back. We felt very comfortable. There was at least 12 overflights of the ship from 0600 to approximately 11 or 11:30. Our intercept operators on the ship picked up information from the Israelis notifying their base in Haifa that this was an American ship, and they identified it as Liberty, AGTR-5, an American ship. And this was passed on and picked up by listening bases in Beirut, Lebanon, at the American Embassy. It was picked up in Vietnam, believe it or not. It was picked up in Greece. That the Israelis themselves identified us as American. They put us on their war table as an American ship. We were in international waters, 12.5 miles off the coast of the Sinai. At approximately 1 o'clock, we had a general quarters drill, which is a drill to test our skills for, at that time, it was a chemical drill. We were in chemical suits, and it was hot, believe me. It was a hot day. And the sky was clear. The flag was flying. No obstructions. We knew had been identified, and the only word we had, would be the Arabs. We thought that would be the only people, but we knew our good friends, the Israelis, were there. If anything happened, we knew we were protected. Before we got into the area, by the way, the captain did ask for a destroyer escort because we were going into a war zone. But we were in international waters. They refused him. They told him that you're flying an American ensign. The Israelis know you're there. Don't worry about it. We secured from general quarters about 10 minutes to 2. I went up on the forward gun mount. The sound-powered phones weren't working, and I was the damage control officer of the forward repair party. So I went to the CIC where the guys to take care of that, and they sent a guy up there by the name of David Skolak to repair the sound-powered phones. Now, we were in condition 3, readiness. This means we had 4 50 caliber machine guns on the ship, and they were all manned because of condition 3. We could see on the land black smoke and fires and bombs and things going off. And then at 2 o'clock, the attack started. It started with 3 French Mirage jets. They hit every single antenna on that ship, operating antenna. There were 40 of them. And now this ship was the most sophisticated ship in the world for telecommunications. They hit every antenna on the ship, and we couldn't get a word out to anybody for about 10 minutes. Terry Haldebardier jerry-rigged an antenna that had been shut down. The tuner had been shut down. These guys were shooting at us with heat-seeking missiles. And they took out first all the antennas. They took out the captain's gig. They took out the whaleboat. And they took out 99% of our life rafts. This attack lasted about as long as the attack on Pearl Harbor. There were over 820 rocket and cannon holes in the ship.